The Gaza Strip is facing some of deadliest fighting to date in the current war as Israel expands its offensive just days after UN Security Council adopted a resolution calling for more aid and urgent steps towards a sustainable ceasefire. More than 100 people were killed Israeli airstrikes center of the besieged Palestinian territory late Sunday. Hamas-controlled health officials said, including at least 70 attacks on a settlement block Meghazi refugee camp near Deir al-Balah. Deir al-Balah was also hit overnight, despite having previously been designated by the Israel Defense Forces as an evacuation zone for Palestinians fleeing the fighting. The Palestinian Red Crescent released from the Al-Aqsa Martyrs hospital in Deir al-Balah showing dazed and blue children covered in rubble dust. There were also dozens of white body bags at scene of the attack on Magazi. People were screaming and shouting in darkness as they tried to dig out survivors from collapsed buildings. The Israeli army said it was investigating the Meghazi incident. The latest casualties follow an earlier announcement by Gaza's health ministry on Sunday that Israeli airstrikes killed 166 Palestinians in 24 hours. One of the deadliest days of the 12-week conflict. This year, Christmas celebrations in Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories were cancelled in solidarity with the people of Gaza. Instead of the traditional parade and joyous midnight ceremony, Palestinian Christians held a subdued service accompanied by hymns and prayers for peace in the occupied West Bank town of Bethlehem, where Jesus is believed to have been born. This day is supposed to be a day of love and happiness. But look around you. There are no smiles on people's faces. Bethlehem is sad and dark. There are no decorations, no carols or Christmas trees, said Pastor Louis Salman. I condemn the decision-makers who watched what happened to the children of Gaza and did nothing for Israel. The war has also brought what Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called a very heavy cost on Sunday. 15 Israeli soldiers have been killed in intense ground with Hamas since Friday, bringing the total to 156. Hamas cells use IEDs, ambushes, and extensive tunnel networks to inflict significant casualties on the Israel Defense Forces in house-to-house combat, aided by information about dense urban areas. Fighting ground has intensified since the end of a 7-day ceasefire at beginning of December. Despite Friday's long-awaited UN Security Council resolution calling on all parties to take urgent action, a ceasefire, Israel's expansion its operations into southern half 365 square kilometer strip has created fear for area's 2.3 million residents. Almost all this population took refuge south Gaza River after Israeli army said Gaza would be closed. The UN has warned that a quarter of the population is starving to death and that the increase in aid since December 17 is a tiny fraction of what people need to survive.